Hey guys, this is Spartacus here and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a short guide on how to complete your ground streaks and field upgrade destructions using rocket launchers within Call of Duty Vanguard's multiplayer. The good news is that you do not need to level up the launchers to unlock these camo challenges. They are by default always going to be at level 1, and every camo challenge for the rocket launchers will already be unlocked for you, which is great, so you can start completing them right away. And so my very first tip that I just highly recommend, it's kind of a no-brainer, but I think it's good to mention it anyway, is use the engineer perk 24/7. You should never run engineer if you're solely trying to complete these camo challenges for your rocket launchers. I cannot stress that enough. It's so helpful seeing the objects through walls and being able to get a good angle on them, and then be able to, like, basically in a way pre-fire your rocket launcher at a relatively decent distance to where you can shoot it through a doorway even if it's not directly in front of you. So that is a very good tip that I'm giving to you guys right away in case it's something you didn't really think of. But before we get into the actual ground streaks you can go after to complete this challenge, let's start with field upgrades here. So the field upgrades that you can destroy to get this challenge done are the ammo box, the Goliath, the deployable cover, the jammer, the field mic, and of course I believe the tactical insertion will also count as well, because it is not a tactical equipment in this game, it is a field upgrade. And so the majority of field upgrades in this game you can actually destroy to actually complete towards this challenge, which is really nice. However, you don't really come across them very often. I think one reason might be because not enough people actually use them, and even if they do, they might be just running dead silence or ones that you can't actually destroy. However, some of these field upgrades do have a lot of health, especially the Goliath. This is one that I personally just try to avoid because I can never try and destroy one with one of my rocket launchers, just because they can move around fairly quickly. I mean, it is slow, but they can move around fairly quickly. They have a lot of health, and they can be manually detonated by the user, and so it's very inconsistent when trying to destroy Goliaths, and so I just kind of recommend avoiding those. But deployable cover is another one that is really easily done. I recommend using the gammon bomb and throw a gammon bomb at the deployable cover, and then pull out your launcher to start shooting at it to hopefully it gets destroyed. Or you can just walk up to the deployable cover and just melee it to death, because that also works, believe it or not. Same with the munitions box. Munitions box will actually just take one rocket, and you can actually get some cool looking feeds in the kill cam and stuff like that if you really wanted to do something like that. But yeah, munitions box are really weak, and so I highly recommend just shooting at them whenever you see one. And then of course there's the jammer. The jammer has a lot more health than I think it should have, and so my biggest recommendation here is pretty similar to the one with the deployable cover. You could just go up to it and melee it, but what I do is that usually these jammers are in areas where they're very contested with enemies, and so what I do is I throw a gammon bomb and then I start shooting my rocket launcher at it, and usually that does the trick. And the problem with the jammers in this game is that they don't last forever like they do in Black Ops Cold War. They actually do have like a time limit when you set them down, and then they self-destruct at some point, so you got to make sure you get there as quick as possible and basically destroy it before it destroys itself, essentially. And then there's also the field mic. I don't see too many people use this, but it is weaker than the jammer itself from my understanding, and so I think 2 rockets should be able to destroy it pretty easily. And then of course there's a tactical insertion, which I shouldn't even have to tell you how you can get that done completed. But those are the tips for the field upgrades. And one thing I mentioned already is that you could just melee some of these field upgrades, such as the deployable cover, to actually get this challenge done. As long as you're actually holding the rocket launcher out and you're meleeing with the rocket launcher. The same thing can actually be said with ground streaks, whether that's the flame knot or the guard dog or the dog's kill streak. And so with the flame knot though, I don't really expect you to go up to it and melee it with the launcher unless you know it's incredibly weak. But I just recommend shooting at the flame knot, because you know it's going to be absorbing a lot of damage from your teammates, and I'm sure by the time you can pull out your launcher you can actually like destroy it with an actual explosive from that launcher itself. But if someone has a guard dog or the dog's kill streak, I highly recommend pulling out your launcher and just meleeing them. Don't even bother shooting at the dogs, because for some reason dogs don't die in a single shot from a launcher. I don't know why, that's just how it is. And so instead of shooting at them, let them come to you and just melee them with the launcher. It only takes 2 hits with the melee, and what's cool is that first hit with the melee, it stuns the dog. So once you stun the dog in the first place, you have time to melee again and then kill the dog with the launcher, and it counts towards the challenge, which I think is awesome. This is probably the best tip I can give you guys for completing this challenge, is just meleeing dogs to death. And no real life animals were harmed during the making of this YouTube video, but it is a tip that I think you guys are really going to benefit benefit from, because everybody seems to run dogs in Vanguard, and it's not going to be very uncommon where the enemy team is going to be calling dogs on you. And so all you got to do is pull out your launcher and just melee them with that launcher. And there's times where in a single life I've killed 3 or 4 dogs with the launcher. And so this is the best way to get this challenge done, and definitely the fastest way to complete it. So anyway, those are my tips for the ground streaks and field upgrade challenge within the launcher section of Call of Duty Vanguard's weapon list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a like, and of course subscribe to the channel for more Call of Duty videos every single day, and I shall catch you guys later.